So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to jump into treasure hunting. I'm going to kind of get into what it is, how it will affect you, who can partake in it, and what information we have around it, and how substantial it will be for content within the world of Veda. But without rambling on too much, I'll just jump right into the video now. So what is treasure hunting? Well, obviously, the basis of it is you're hunting for a treasure, you're hunting to get a reward. Now, in Veda, you're going to get these maps and you're going to be able to locate treasures throughout the world. Now, we don't know a lot of information. Potentially, I imagine there's going to be naval treasure hunting, so whether that's flotsams that float in the sea that you go and gather and randomly are generated throughout the world, then maybe there's going to be some sunken treasures where you go down and you harvest these in the likes of games like Atlas, or maybe it'll be more basic like Archage or ESO where you go out and you just finding the quads for these spots with sextants and you're basically digging them up. But I do feel like this is going to be a nice little way, like Stephen and Jeffrey said, it's not going to be an artisan class. What it's going to be is a way of life. So if you just want to go around farming up these treasure maps, farming up this loot and this reward, you can do that and you could substantially make a decent living off doing this. Now, with that being said, they say that the more maps and treasure you find using this system, the better the maps that you'll be able to create are. So I imagine there's some scale and some rank and some achievement where the more you do this, obviously you're going to gain the chance to get better rewards, so you won't just be able to get the best rewards. It's something you're going to work at, something you're going to have to grind away at, so you could potentially become a really valid treasure hunter, getting some of the rarer resources, not only adventuring around and becoming like a bandit or someone who can just roam around the world, PvPing and just kind of go out there, get your gold and just be a freelancer that just lives off the land by doing treasure hunts. And I think that's potentially really cool. I don't fully know how it's going to work or how popular it's going to be, but I do think it has a chance to be really popular and helping maybe duos or solos or smaller guilds kind of who don't want to just become citizens and stay in one area, travel around and really become adventurers. Now, if we dip into games like, for example, Atlas, if we look at that and we look at the way treasure hunting works, it's you get a map and you find this floating around at the sea and you go pick this map up. That's how you obtain them. And then when you go out there, you go to a certain location. It tells you what grid it's in, so roughly where it's at in the world, and then it shows you kind of an island marked. It could be flipped to the left, it could be upside down. You've kind of got to look out, so you've got to go through these dangerous areas. Potentially other players want to kill you and potentially steal that, and then you've got to get there. You go there, you see your beam, you locate that, then you start digging it up. But these enemies spawn, and also you've got the wildlife around you that will also attack you, just like you will have in Veda. And at that point, you gain some experience, you get some gold, and you get some good BPs. And honestly, some of these treasure maps are really difficult to do. You do need some decent teams, or you do need some decent people with you to complete them. And you could potentially be in a hostile area where PKs are about, or people are just there ready to kill you or lynch you, or maybe it's an enemy territory. And I feel like these kind of dynamics will work very well in Ashes of Creation. Now, I understand people are going to say, oh, well, you can't, compare Atlas to something like Ashes of Creation. And no, you can't, but you can compare these systems for definite, because even if you look at ESO or Archage, they're very similar. But what Atlas does with the BPs and the rewards, I think is really good. And if Ashes could pull it off to that scale, I really think it would work well for them. I think Archage is okay, the treasure hunting's decent, from what I gather you use the sextant and then you go on the map and you go to that location, but with the way that Intrepid are explaining it, it seems like there's a lot more going on here, NPC interactions and rumours and then potential dig sites, and then you have fishing that could potentially be treasure hunting as well from what they're saying, the naval content, if it would be flotsams, if it's deep sea treasure. These maps could turn into little events. You could get a bunch of these up if they potentially give XP and BPs. Take your guild out on a little adventure, and the interactions and things you come across would not only be fun, but at the end of the day, you'd get a reward, and there's a lot of replayability again in this system. Now, we do know treasure hunting isn't planned to be a profession, so it's not going to be an artisan class. What we do know is it's based to be more a side activity, or like Jeffrey said and Stephen, it's a way of life outside of these systems. And I do think that's cool because it gives you the free will to take part in it. And if there's gold to be had and there's XP potentially, or maybe if you do these, this is a way of working off corruption that could work that in, so people are going out treasure hunting and using this system, and it's viable. I think it's pretty decent, and I would definitely like to get involved in this, going around the world, going on these naval treasure hunts. Potentially, you could lose your ship, get attacked, or get robbed or hijacked, or if you're on land you could get PK'd, or you could come across some mad world boss or some other rival guild or some bandits or a caravan. So these treasure maps wouldn't be as simple as just going to this location and just digging it up. It seems like with every other system within Veta, it would be a totally unique system in comparison to other games that have this in place. Now, the one thing I can say about Atlas when it comes to BPs, it's always viable. So if you want a certain ship BP, you'd maybe destroy the NPC ships. If you want certain other treasures, you'll get sunken treasures. If you want maybe structures or other things, you'll do your land treasure maps. Now, if Intrepid could do the similar thing, whereas treasure hunting isn't just, you could fish, you can go out on naval, I can do landing, you kind of all get the same type of BPs. If they broke that down and made it so that if you do land treasure hunting, you get BPs for your freeholds. And if you do naval content on naval treasure hunting, you potentially get ship BPs, or your sea caravan BPs, or cannon BPs, or some type of defensive ship BP armor that you can use and you can only obtain from the sea. And if you do this, and say fishing could potentially give you certain tools or things, BPs, that maybe give you a little bit better of a craft or a better rating on them, you could break that down so people don't just have to do one type of content, they have to do 3 different types of content to get these BPs. And then what you're doing there is you're making people use this system more and interact with other systems within the game, so they're kind of not pushed or forced, but kind of enticed into doing naval content and land content and getting involved in all these aspects, and then it intertwines within these systems, given that replayability, and it then makes something not just a dead system within the game, something that has life and is consistently used. I do really like the idea of treasure hunting in games. Now, our guild isn't gonna be a mercenary guild or a bandit guild, but I do see folk like mercenary guilds or seafaring guilds really could take advantage of this, and it would give them some content, because I feel like if you're limited to a certain type of guild, you really want a lot of content within that area you're going to be really diving into, and something like this definitely helps. But we do need to see how it plays out, we do need to test it in Alpha 2, and we do need to see how it develops. But just the basis of what Intrepid's going for seems a little bit more intriguing, or maybe a little bit more advanced than other games. And what I can see them doing is kind of pulling inspiration from all these other games, adding their own little twist and developing on that for the newer game generation of players, and kind of seeing where they can go. I do think it's going to be good, and I do think it definitely deserves a video. And when we do get more information on this, 110% I will be making a video and making sure that information gets fired out there, because I'm really looking forward to this and I really like the idea of it. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you like the idea of treasure hunting, or is it something you just don't care about and probably won't take a part in? Or is there any feedback you'd like to give to Intrepid or me on some ideas that could potentially be better for them to implement, or something you've seen in the game, or just some idea that is easy maybe to implement that no other game's using that you think would be valid for Intrepid to crack on with and maybe add into this system? Do drop them comments down below. I really do appreciate them, and all the feedback's good. And if you ever get a chance and you're not on the forums, I would sign up and start heading over to the forums for Ash's Creation. I'll leave a link below, and giving them your feedback, because it really does help develop the game. And we're at a key part now leading up to Alpha 2 and during Alpha 2 testing where we can really help shape the game as players. And if you do want to continue the discussions after the video and out of the comment section, we do have a community Discord, and people who are joining, we like them to be active and get involved. And if not, you can just keep cracking on with the comment section below. I always get back to them and really do enjoy getting involved in the conversations. But as always, I really do appreciate the positive feedback I'm getting and the people watching the videos, and appreciate you taking the time to watch this one. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.